Here's a question for you. When you experience some low mood and you're feeling a little bit down, what do? If you're like most people, you probably do what you feel like doing. And that makes sense, right? But what if I told you that the thing that your brain tells you to go do is nearly always not the thing that you actually need to go do? And I'll give you an example. I'm an introvert. So when it comes to social events and social gatherings, there's always that little part of me that doesn't want to go do that social event or gathering. My brain predicts just how much energy I need to invest into doing this thing, and because of that, it stirs up some negative emotions inside of me. But because I made the commitment and I said I was going to go do it, I need to follow through. And I can tell you, bro, every time I feel better after doing it than what I did before. So that's just an example of how poor of a judge our brain is at actually knowing what we need to go do. We can't rely on our emotions and our feelings to provide the guidance to the things that we need to go do, even for our own well-being. Even when we're talking about self-care or trying our best to take care of ourselves, because our brain is just a poor judge of what we actually need. Instead, I think a better way is to, rather than thinking about ourselves as a human, to think about ourselves as a machine. And don't get me wrong here. I'm not saying for you to completely disregard your emotions and your feelings. Actually, quite the opposite. I'm not saying fuck your feelings, just go do whatever you need to go do anyway. I'm saying to really acknowledge what these feelings are and to integrate them and to be able to solve them to the best of your abilities in the most effective and efficient way possible. Consider your car, for example. When you're driving along and you see the fuel light pop up, you don't think about how your car feels, you take it to the nearest petrol station and you fill it up. When you walk outside and you know some of the tires are getting a little bit low in pressure, you don't think about how the car feels, you take it to the nearest service station and you inflate the tires. When you notice the engine oil level is getting low because you're checking the dipstick every so often, you go and do the oil change. So you're not really worried about how your car feels through any of the maintenance. You do the maintenance so you'll be able to stay on the road and continue driving. You don't ignore all the warning signs on the dashboard and continue driving forward despite it, because what would happen? You'll break down and then need to get rescued by the roadside assistance. And the same thing is for you. Why should you ignore all the warning signs that your body is actually giving you that you need to do the maintenance? Because unlike the car, there is no roadside assistance for you. No one is coming to rescue you when you can't look after yourself. So rather than relying on doing what you feel like doing or pushing through blindly and ignorantly, you can write the instruction manual to your machine so that you never break down. And you might be wondering, what does this actually look like? Well, it depends on you. It depends on what you need to do to feel great and to do great things. When I think about my own maintenance, I really can categorize it into two main categories. We have one, the big movers, which are the things that I really need to prioritize into my day and also into my week. To me, my big movers are, pretty much the basic shit. The things you already know. Like eating high quality food, mainly getting enough protein, enough calories, and also enough nutrients. Making sure that I am properly hydrated by drinking plenty of water and replenishing the electrolytes I have lost through the day. Making sure I'm getting plenty of high quality sleep, 7 to 9 hours. I find that helps a lot. And then there's going for walks out in the sun, because you'd be very surprised just how much of an impact sunlight and daylight actually has on your mood. I need to make sure that I'm training hard in the gym because I just love seeing progress, and that's my form of exercise. I need to make sure that I am prioritizing focus, clear, deep work earlier in the mornings, because again, that makes me feel like I'm making progress into the things that I want to be working on. And then I need some social time, because even though I am an introvert, I still do have some social needs. And if those needs aren't being met, then I can feel lonely and also a little bit depressed. So it's important to actually prioritize that time through the week as well. when I'm experiencing the low mood and feeling a little bit down that I mentioned at the start of the video, this is seriously the checklist that I go through. I look at what has been lacking over the last week or two and what do I need to prioritize. And if I'm able to identify what that thing is and I go do it, I can tell you that I nearly always feel better after going doing it, no matter what I was feeling previously. But that's the big movers. There are another category that I mentioned as well, which is the small movers. The small movers are the things that don't make as big as a difference as you can imagine, but you still notice them when they actually are lacking. And they, for me, are having some unoccupied time to allow my mind to wander, to get perspective, and to create focus that I talked about in a previous video. But then there's also making time to go do cool shit, like playing some golf or practicing Muay Thai or going climbing. Things that I enjoy, things that I do have interest in, but I don't make enough time to go do. Because it's these type of things that break up the monotony of the week, to get you out of that cycle of work, sleep, eat, gym, repeat. When I don't have those things, eventually it catches up with me and I feel run down, a bit fatigued, and I supplement it with cheap pleasures, which, by the way, also have their time and place. And so this is really, in my opinion, what self-care is all about. You're doing the required maintenance to keep yourself in the best possible shape that you can be by focusing on the big movers and also integrating the small movers into your week as well. Not only does it act as a way to get you out of that low mood and low energy, but it also prevents it happening in the first place if you can keep on top of it all at the same time. And that is a challenge in and of itself. But that's all for today's video. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. Bye.